It's BBC Radio Sheffield, 11 minutes past 12. I'm Rony. Joining me in the studio to talk about his life so far, Dave Cherry from Barnsley, retired electrician with a, well, it says here, a musical background, which is putting it to, perhaps overstressing it really. His song STAIRFOOT RARNDABART has raised nearly £25,000 for Barnsley Hospice. Prepare for a clip of it.
Why don't somebody give that silly man a clap? All dreamt up that STAIRFOOT RARNDABART.
Right, you're all right again now. No, Dave's joined me in the studio. He runs a business putting out old cine and VHS films of Barnsley onto DVD. He shows to people around the town. He's done all sorts. He's joined me in the studio now. It doesn't seem 10 years since that STAIRFOOT story, does it?
Well, it was, Ronnie. It was actually August 10 years ago, 2004, August Bank Holiday Monday, when I wrote that song. You know, incredible.
You made a fortune, didn't it? Not for you, though.
No, not for the Barnsley Hospice. It all went there, you know. I just said 24.5 grand, you know, money. You know, a lot of money, yeah.
Good. But let's go back on the story of your life. Barnsley born.
Barnsley bred, strongy arm and
weak,
thick. Yeah.
What were your parents like?
Oh, wonderful, Ronnie. My dad, they called him Walter, and my mum Ivy. My mother talked very posh, you know, but my dad was a character. Very posh, eloquent. She's from Kent, you know, but my dad, typical working class lad, but he could play piano, Ronnie. That's, you know, a wonderful fella, yeah.
What were you like at school? No great shakes to start with?
Ronnie, I was a disaster until I was at 13. I had a terrible stutter, we used to call it. Ronnie, awful. All the kids make fun, and you can't believe.
What was that about?
I just couldn't get my words out. It was terrible. I was just telling a lady outside at Whitecross School, they picked me to be the soothsayer in Julius Caesar. There's only 7 words. Beware the Ides of March, O Caesar. And I went, boo. Teacher went, bang, he says, it'll be May before this play gets going. And then, Ronnie, I was 6. I come from a place called Worsbrough Bridge, on the A61 there, down near the reservoir. And, the stutter. I got caught nicking apples by the policeman. Big fella, they called him Cheyenne. Remember Cheyenne? And we were a big one, Ronnie. And he hit me and he says, where do you live? I says, between number 3 and number 7, William Street. He hit me again, he says, why don't you just say number 5? I says, I can't say that. Right.
But you did seriously stutter, did you?
Oh, yes.
So when did that stop?
10 years ago, would you believe, when I first come on here, I learnt rather like the King's Speech, you know, the film about King George VI. The trick is, Ronnie, and I hope you all listeners are listening to this, because you've got to say something else. Instead of, I don't know, the typical scenario, up to a bar in a pub, if there's any left, any pubs. But, you know, I say, I want a pint of bitter and half a lager for the wife. I couldn't say it. I would take a pint. So what you say? Say something else. Hello, love. Or, right, I think I'll have. And it works. Say something else. You know, well, do you know what, love? I'll have a pint of bitter. Works, Ronnie. Say something in front of it.
But you've only realised that as a grown man. I mean,
yeah, well, it held me back, but when all this lot started, I had to... I mean, I'm like anybody. I hate my own voice, you know, and my own singing voice, and I suppose we're all like that. But
we do. We all hate your singing voice.
I know. Well, there you go. But, you know, I hate my own voice, you know. And I'm like,
what were you like at school? You went to grammar school, so you're obviously a clever kid.
Well, 13...
You failed the 11 plus and then went
I failed the 11 plus, but at 13... 11 plus at 11, of course. 13, I went to Worsbrough High School, Whitecross. I passed, actually, for the high school. And then I developed, you know, very good at history and geography and stuff like that, you know, so, you know, and then like running in tandem, of course, I started playing the guitar, but academically, that's when I progressed, you know, I always loved history, you know, so.
Left school at what age?
I left at 16, Ronnie.
And did what?
I went into the pits like everybody else in Barnsley. I was an electrician at Barra Colliery. in Worsbrough there as an apprentice electrician at 16. You know, so yeah.
And making music when you got up, as it were.
Oh, well, running in tandem, I joined a local group called the Dolphins. I was their bass guitarist. I learned from a lad at take a few chords, you know, and then then I started doing the clubs. So I had like 2 lives running in tandem, if you like, in parallel. You know, doing the clubs and also at the pit. You know.
You had time to do a bit of courting, I gather, as well, Dave.
Well, I met Sandra, wife, in 1965
in a dark room somewhere?
No, it was a bright room, actually, Silkstone Club, when I was with a group, and, that's when I met her in 1965. That's 49 years, isn't it?
Well, so next year's the big one. What did you think of her? What did she think of you?
Not a
what
lot.
did you look like?
Well, her mother, Rony, God bless her soul, she says, Sandra, I think you could have done better than that.
What were you like as a young man? These days you're a slightly rubicund, if I may say so, good-looking man, but in a particular way. Were you nice looking when you were younger?
No. I've had some rough winters, Rony, actually. I had a big paper round. No. I had a big paper. That Barnsley Chronicle on a Friday used to kill me. But no, I'm just ordinary lad, you know, and Backstreet.
So what was it that she fancied about you? Your
She liked me eyes.
Did she? Did she say that? 50. You've got 2 kids.
Yeah, Simon and Andrew. Simon actually emigrated to New Zealand. He's a bobby.
Couldn't get much further away.
No, New Zealand is a copper there, and we've been 7 times actually to see him. Then our Andrew is in the banking sector in London.
You weren't like an old socialist like you weren't like that, were you?
Well, he's put it like this, Rony's diametrically opposite to my views. But
yeah, well, he's a robber and he lives off the backs of the poor, and you want to change society, don't you?
Well, we agree to disagree, as you do, you know.
Do you agree about your musical choice, which is Lonnie Donegan?
Oh yeah, love it. Yeah.
Would he love it? Would we love it if you play it?
Well, we always used to finish when I had a club turn round your clubs here. I always used to finish with this. Lonnie Donegan, yes.
This is it, halfway through.
Oh me, oh my, oh you, whatever shall I do? Hallelujah, the question is peculiar, I give a lot of dough. Overnight,
Oh, there the love, you're in the one who holds you tight.
a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night on the bed. Overnight,
$1 is $1 and a dime is a dime.
he's seen another chorus, but he hasn't got the time. On the bed.
Lonnie Donegan, does your chewing gum lose its flavour? Dave Cherry's choice of music. He's got 2 12-bar tacits in there.
12-bar tacit, they call it, Ronnie.
Explain it.
You think the song's going to finish on the verb post over? $1 is $1 and a dime is a dime. Sing another chorus, but I haven't got the time. We always did it in the groups, and I always did it as a false tab, you know, they clap you off and... clap you off, and then you come on with that, and it's showstopper, Ronnie. Always has been, yeah.
While I was listening to that lovely song, I thought this reminds me of another number.
Yeah, well, I nicked it. I must tell the listener, I nicked it on the STAIRFOOT RARNDABART when on the STAIRFOOT Roundabout, Bobby Bill at New Street, Q's each save. So that's STAIRFOOT return. It's a 12-bar tacit. That's what I call it.
Yeah. That's the only 12-bar tacit you'll hear in this interview with Dave Cherry, where there won't be a lot of silence as we talk. What is this wonderful book here I have in front of me called The Woodhead Diaries?
Woodhead Diaries, Ronnie. I've just wrote it, and it's out on Amazon, and it's... well, I hope people's going to buy it.
Of course you do. What is it?
Well, it's about the Woodhead Tunnel. It's a fiction based on fact. I got the idea from an old BBC film, 1968, and it's on the iPlayer. Your listeners might watch this. It's called Engines Must Not Enter the Potato Siding. All about Sheffield here, the old Victoria Station bridge houses, and all the line, if you remember, it went to Manchester and via Pennine and via the Woodhead Tunnel. Now, what got me with this? 1839. They built the first tunnel, Ronnie, and hundreds got killed. Hundreds of mostly Irish navvies or navigators. And The death toll was appalling. They're just buried in unmarked graves on the moorland churches, Pennine, and a little chapel called St James's on the other side. And I thought, why ain't nobody wrote about this? So I got hooked on the idea. And when I was in Lanzarote, went to Lanzarote for the winter a couple of years ago, and Sandra, my wife, was very, very poorly, gallbladder problems. Oh, Ron, she was shocking. So that's when I started writing it. I had plenty of time on my hands, Everybody were out on the pool and they were out writing this book. They all thought I was mental. But, so there you go. I wrote it. Took 2 years to write. It's fiction based on fact. The third tunnel, you may remember, 1952, Rony. That's when they made the electric line. And in my book, they find bodies from 1839. So it's like a detective story. I went to Ireland twice to listen how they speak, how the people this half Gaelic thing, and and that's what it's from. Yeah,
that's great. I hope it's as successful. Your last success I knew artistically was when you filled the Lamp Room Theatre with people for your performances.
Yeah. Well, the second song, Ronnie, after the Roundabout, I'd had to follow. I wrote a song called The Old Club Trip, and then I wrote a musical comedy round that. It went on 3 times, and that made about 30 grand in total. The actual play made 24.5 grand for the hospice, and then the song as well. You're looking at 30 grand.
He's a very rich man if you'd kept the money.
I could have bought 10 houses in Sheffield.
Or 50 in Barnsley. I'll tell you what, and I should say that the book that he's given me, which I will look forward to reading, comes with the recommendations of our Andy Kershaw, who says Dave Cherry lives and breathes Barnsley and its history, culture and passion like a seam of coal through rock. And Mel Dyke, these among other people, says it's a book I can't wait to read. Barnsley's latest novelist is writing about the Husker mining disaster. Well, she knows her stuff as well. I'm looking forward to it. Great stuff. Will you tell me about this memory of yours?
Well, I don't know why, Ronnie, but I've got this photographic memory. If I've ever read anything in the past, history things or I know it. Complicated algebraic formulas, complicated guitar riffs, I can just rattle it off. There's a gift or what you call it, but I don't know. Once I've read something or seen something, I can just zoom in on it. Don't work every time. But
how many plays did Shakespeare write?
I don't know. I've never read that.
Who's Beethoven's wife called?
I don't know. I've never read that.
What sort of thing would you know? When did Sheffield United win the cup?
I'm not a Sheffield United fan, so I've never read that.
When did Barnsley FC ever any good?
1912.
Did they?
Yeah, the same year as the Titanic.
Who was in the team? I'm not trying to catch out. I'm just wondering where the knowledge comes and goes.
It was some like history dates.
When did William the Conqueror conquer?
1066.
When did he die?
Christmas Day. A few years after. I don't know. I forgot.
What was the Christmas Day bit of it?
That's when he was crowned king.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, 1066. William the Conqueror.
Who was the greatest king ever? No kings, are you a socialist? When did Oliver Cromwell die?
1660.
What's the date of Charlie Peace, the murderer?
I don't know that. I've never
Oh, yeah, I do. Edward Carpenter, no, I don't know myself. I can't catch you out. How funny. And what if I gave you a piece of paper, could you sort of remember it straight away?
More or less, yeah.
Could you?
In more or less in verbatim, word for word, nearly, yeah.
Has it been any use to you?
Not really. I mean, who wants to know about Oliver Cromwell in Barnsley?
will you remember our conversation kind of verbatim afterwards?
More or less, yeah.
Will you?
Yeah. I mean, I always remember, Ronnie, and I must tell the listeners, I'm the only fella in this place to see Rony Robinson singing with his appellation. Very good. Carry on, Ronnie.
What a memory. I wish I brought it here. We could have had a little skiffle group, couldn't we?
Yes,
could have sung some songs. It's great to see you in such marvellous form, Dave. It's fantastic. What do you still want to do? What are your plans?
Well, I'd like to write a screenplay for this book, Ronnie. What a diaries. I've sent it to 9 film companies, would you believe? And they actually wrote back to me, wonderful, but saying it must be, they cannot accept unsolicited work.
Oh, that's helpful.
I.e. screenplay. Yeah. So I'd like to write a screenplay around it. Everybody tells me it's good enough. So let's just see. So I might do that next, screenplay.
How old are you these days?
I'm 68.
Does that feel old yet or not?
No, I'm still young at heart, Ronnie. I keep on
bits
top of...
falling off yet or not?
Well, no, I'm in perfect health, you know, so I'm okay. Yeah.
Good. Well, you're an example to us all, Dave.
Yeah.
If you were writing your own life story rather than this new book of yours just out called The Wood-Ear Diaries, if you were writing a book, about your life? What would you call it?
Well, it'd have to be Roundabout by Dave Cherry.
Why?
Because it's a pun on STAIRFOOT Roundabout, you know. In Queen's English, a round and about.
Thanks very much. I've been talking, you of course realised, with Dave Cherry, who's been my guest today.
BBC Radio Sheffield.
At 29 minutes past 12. Hey, I'm on air. You're talking. It's BBC Radio Sheffield at 29 minutes past 12. I'm Ronnie, and Dave Cherry is still in the studio. He's now leaving with his cinematography. He's right posh nowadays. But if you want to, the launch of the book we're talking about is on September the 28th. And Barnsley Town Hall. Thanks very much indeed. Dave Cherry, The Wood-Ear Diaries. I'm Ronnie, and we're on BBC Radio Sheffield at 29 minutes past 12.